everyone, and welcome to Shared Brewing, the podcast. This is episode number 1. We're really excited to be here. My name is Tyler, and over here we've got good friend and co-host Joel. Welcome, mate.
Hey, how are ya?
Good. Very caffeinated after this morning's.
Feeling a little bit buzzed.
Yeah, we had some V60 this morning.
Yeah, batch brew.
We had some batch brew. We had some
coffees.
flat whites.
Yeah.
I had a piccolo to start off with, so I'm ready to go. I've had way too many coffees already, so I'm probably going to talk too much, but that's going to be great.
It's part of the whole thing, you know? Shared brewing.
That's it.
Shared brewing and shared energy of coffee.
There's no shortage of that.
No, that's it.
So let's chat about what we're going to be covering in, of course, this Shared Brewing podcast, and maybe go over a little bit about us and why we are doing this, what we love about coffee. Let's start with you. Tell us, Joel, what do you love about specialty coffee? What drew you in? What's your history with it?
So I've been part of specialty coffee for about 13 years now. I've been kind of in and out of the industry. I've been amongst the roasting side of things. I've been amongst the sales side of things, working as a barista, working as a venue manager, having my own places. Like, I've got a wealth of experience in and amongst specialty coffee. I think one of the key things that makes me want to just keep on getting amongst it is you're constantly learning. Like, there's always something coming out, or like someone's found something, or there's a discovered varietal of coffee plant that someone's like, just, this is amazing. It tastes like, you know, the most ridiculous flavor profile you've ever had. So I mean, like, that's what's always sort of drawn me, and just to keep, because I did get out of specialty coffee for a little bit. I mean, I've always been amongst it, but professionally I got out of it, and you know, I've been drawn straight back to it just because it's passion and it's beautiful. I love it. It's amazing.
Like, what was some of the moments, I guess, from when you were like, obviously coffee is something we've all grown up with in general. It's just one of the most well-known commodities in the world, and it's a beverage. We're always drinking, drinks all the time. So I guess, like, we can't escape coffee as it is. Where did you come from in, like, seeing it in a completely new light and actually developing that into like a passion rather than just an everyday commodity?
I reckon, like, so when I was in school, I think it was in I saw my mum every morning. She would wake up and make an instant coffee, and I used to just say, "Mum, can I get a coffee as well in the morning?" I'm pretty certain she didn't put any coffee in it. It was just like probably like a chocolate powder. And she's like, "Here's a mocha for you." And I was like, "Oh, coffee's delicious." And yet it was probably just some sugary chocolate beverage.
Yep.
But I first started to really get amongst it when my parents bought a cafe 13 years ago. And the coffee supply that they had was a small little roastery based in Toowoomba. And I remember the first time we went to that cafe, my mum, just before she sort of announced that buying it to the public, and we just went in there just to grab some lunch, grab a couple of coffees, and I had like an iced coffee with like ice cream and cream and that sort of thing, and I was just like, coffee's delicious. And I that sort of like, that just completely 180'd when we started to work in the cafe, really started to get amongst it. The little small roastery that was based in Toowoomba, it's called Chipperoni.
Oh, nice.
Don't know if they're still going or not. I don't think so. I know that the original owners sold the business a few years ago. But yeah, just going up to the roastery in Toowoomba and chatting to the guys there, just really understanding, like, I didn't even know coffee was a fruit. I was just like, what?
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
I thought it was just like a seed that just, found in the ground. Like, I had no idea. And then
kind of like nuts or something. Like,
yeah, like peanuts.
Yeah,
it's like, that's coffee.
You don't really question peanuts. They're just there. It's about the same size.
Yeah, and so I just really started to understand that coffee came from these amazing places around the world. You had these incredible farmers growing this beautiful fruit and trees, and the crops that they had, and just the different processing methods and all that sort of thing to change the end cup. Like, that sort of blew me away, and I was just like, I'm starting to get really into this. And after about sort of 6 months of working in the cafe, working in my mum's cafe, I knew I wanted to, get more involved in it. And I said to her, I was just like, let's open up an espresso bar. And so we opened an espresso bar in the CBD of Brisbane called the Frisky Goat.
Nice.
The reason I called it the Frisky Goat as well was because there's a story of how coffee was founded. It's Caldi, the goat herder. He had a herd of goats, and his goats went missing, and he went looking for them, couldn't find them anywhere. Eventually he found them, and he came across this like paddock, and they're all just energetic, acting all frisky, like just going nuts. And he's just like, what are they eating? And they're eating this fruit. And he went to eat the fruit, and he was just like, oh, it's too sweet. So he threw it on his fire, and then the aroma of coffee came.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was just like, cool, I'm going to call it the Frisky Goat.
Good little story there.
Bit of a fun little name. And pretty much then and there, things just really started to progress, and that's when like just that sheer passion of specialty coffee and just being amongst the industry and things like that, and seeing these amazing farmers around the world grow this beautiful product.
And where's that kind of led to now? Where do you sit in coffee or the coffee industry, or personally with that now?
So I mean, like I said, I left the industry professionally for a bit there. So after we had the cafe in the original cafe that we got, then we got the espresso bar. Then we had a few other cafes that we went through, with buying and selling and moving on and changing locations and that sort of thing. Yeah, cafe game. The only real way to make money is just to flip them. buy yourself a job. After that, I sort of thought, all right, I kind of want to look at other options other than hospitality. So I actually started working in a chocolate business, doing research and development for chocolate recipes, and kind of changing the game of chocolate a little bit.
Comes back round to your childhood chocolate substitute of coffee.
Yeah. And I just, we were wanting to sort of change the game, I guess, like production-wise of chocolate, producing a chocolate that was sugar-free, hemp protein, probiotics, digestive enzymes. So sort of getting into that kind of real niche product development stage. That then provided me with a whole skill set to then come back into specialty coffee, and now I've created Brill instant specialty coffee as well, which is
amazing.
Perfectly brewed coffee every time, at the ease of just hot water. It's soluble coffee. It is instant coffee. I never thought I'd be saying, yep, I'm going to sell instant coffee, but it's an amazing product. We've got a really good team behind us. The freeze drying methods. It's taken multiple years to get to where it is. Now I'm in sort of that realm, and it's just like this industry just keeps developing and keeps progressively growing. And I think that's why I like doing this podcast and these videos is going to be a lot of fun, because we can be that open book of specialty coffee. Like, I'm industry side, you're more sort of community based side, and just the sheer love of coffee. And so it's going to be really fun to kind of get both sides of the stories, but also get our listeners to let us know like how you enjoy your coffee, or how you guys got into it, and that type of thing, and like really showcase some roasteries or people in the industry that are doing great things. And that's kind of leading me on to how did you get into specialty coffee, Tyler?
Great. Well, yeah, that was a really good story, and I love that it kind of went that full circle as well. Starting at that, good stuff, the instant coffee when you were young, and going through the whole industry, but being able to bring that back around in like a really high quality new approach, which is really nice. So thank you for sharing that story.
That's it.
But yeah, so for me, a completely different route, really, I think, and it's funny that we've kind of ended up at this same love and passion for coffee, but I've kind of come at it from not the hospitality industry side, and more from an appreciator's side. I'm a graphic designer. That's kind of my industry. That's where I feel I sit in the world often, is kind of the design industry. But of course, I have a lot of friends who love coffee, and myself included. And over the years, like, it's funny, I never even really drank coffee growing up, like other than a few instant coffees here and there, at my parents and stuff. But like all throughout uni, I didn't even really drink any coffee, which is hilarious because everyone has their caffeine hit through uni. Maybe I substituted for energy drinks or something, but but yeah, I didn't even really get into coffee even on the kind of, you know, the quick side, other than every now and then, until I just kind of like, I guess I hit around my like mid-20s. I started to appreciate things like food and wine and stuff like that, good spirits and things like that a lot more, and coffee just naturally came into that. I also really appreciate the design scene within the coffee industry, the specialty coffee industry in Australia and around the world that I've seen. I think that was a huge like draw in for me. So between the design and the actual product itself and the appreciation of that and how much depth there is to it, like you said, like it's a never-ending like industry of you know, that you can explore and learn more about every day. That just kind of kept drawing me in. And I guess there was this pivotal moment when I went to Melbourne with some friends and we went to a beer tasting event. It was like a masterclass from La Serene.
Yeah.
And they were so open and honest and like friendly about the beer. And like at first I felt very out of place because I'm like, I don't really know that much about beer other than like, I want to learn more. I appreciate it. You know, let's have a chat about it. And there was maybe like a room full of like 30 people. We were all trying different beers. We ended up having like 10 or 11 or 12 different, you know, just tasters. And meanwhile, throughout that maybe like 2-hour session, everyone in the room was chatting about it. They had the head brewer there, the owner of the brewery as well. And they were talking about the different things that they've cultivated from their own brewery and like all the different little parts that have gone into making their beer. And I just love that conversation and actually opening that dialogue and being so like, you know, human about it. And I think like beer, wine, you know, spirits, coffee, it can all have like a tendency to be really pretentious. And that I think can lock a lot of people out of it because it's hard to ask questions about it when you kind of feel like, well, maybe I should just know, or like, it's not my thing.
Yeah. Or you're afraid of like, you don't want to look like you're well out of your depth.
Yep.
I mean, that's like
big time.
Even sometimes, like I'll speak to like a specialty coffee professional, and I'm just a bit like, is this person going to think I'm just
like, why are you behind the bar? Or like, yeah. So yeah, that sort of led me on to creating TheMonday as just like a way for me to allow other people to come along on my journey with specialty coffee. But beyond that, I really, you know, I don't want it to just be about me. I want it to be about the community around me and to be able to bridge that gap between the industry and the community and the people. So yeah, I sort of took a lot of inspiration from that and my, you know, kind of just love for the finer things like food and wine and coffee. And yeah, just kind of started on this journey maybe like 4 years ago or so. And through that, I've just met so many lovely people in coffee. Also come up against a few barriers, I think, of entry there. And, you know, a lot of self-doubt. Like, why am I even talking about coffee? I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
But, you know, the more I learn about it too, the more I realize it's not about being an expert. It's about being open-minded and going in, you know, with an open mind to explore those things and learn from each other. So that's my approach on coffee, and it's really it's not your typical approach. I've never actually been a full-time barista or anything. I've done a few rockstar shifts here and there. I can make some coffee now. Like, I really appreciate it. Makes a mean mocha master. But yeah, so that's my approach to coffee, and that's kind of where I've come from with it. And more the community side and the appreciator side.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I like, and that's why I'm so keen to do this, is that we want people to, like, the people who listen to this feel that way of community and, like, you know, transparency and open book, and like, you know, there are still so many questions that I would love to know about specialty coffee. I mean, like, I'm no expert. Like, I'm constantly learning. I'm always learning, and I just think that you can have a fair idea about something, and like, you can be an expert in certain areas, but I think specialty coffee is just always, it's just those things like beer, you know, specialty beers, like what you're saying, specialty wines, like food, just breaking that barrier and just keep on like pushing the limits. And that's, you know, I mean, I kind of feel like I've done that with Brill with the instant side of things.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like
yeah.
creating something that I drink it and I'm just like, can't believe this is instant coffee. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
My parents actually thought the same thing. It was nice to take that back to my parents, and you know, they love the Brill side of it too. And I think like they're people who've just like, they've consumed a lot of coffee in their life, but they've never even considered that it could be something more.
Yeah.
And like just by just educating them through experimentation and showing them like, hey, try this. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's just a different style of coffee, or, you know, oh, watch me make a V60. That's been really fun to actually come back and, you know, teach them about it a little bit more. And they've actually been like so interested.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be like, look, I don't care, you know, like just give me some coffee. But it's just that they haven't been exposed to that. I love that, you know, that opportunity as well to shine a light on these things for other people, you know, who may not even realize how passionate they are actually, you know, when they get into it.
Yeah, it just sort of like unlocks that like,
Yep.
I actually really love this and I want to keep getting deeper and deeper into it. Like that's the thing. It's like people, I think that's, you know, that's the beauty of coffee as well, is that you can, you know, think about when you go to catch up with someone, let's grab a coffee, or you go to do something, you know, like there's so many different aspects of coffee and specialty coffee and the community amongst it, and also just the barriers that are, you know, being broken with it. And just like, you know, there are like some areas where it is pretentious, and, you know, I just don't think that like being pretentious is just not really called for in any sort of industry.
No, but it does exist in every industry, but hope to find that nice in between where we can, you know, I think there's a lot of difference between an appreciator and like a coffee snob.
Yeah.
Like that's something that comes a lot. Like everyone, now that I'm so interested in coffee, a lot of people are like, oh, like, you know, sorry if this coffee's not very good, or like, you know,
or don't drink that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I'm not a snob about it. I'm just an appreciator of the process and the fine, like, you know, art of brewing a good coffee. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be like, you're disgusting, I don't like you anymore because you didn't make a good coffee or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coffee snob, coffee appreciator, different things.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Like, you know, when I wake up in the morning now, one of the joys of my morning is I can go, okay, I can make myself a coffee without turning on any machinery, doing all that sort of thing, like waking up my baby and my girlfriend or my partner.
Exactly.
No more grinder in the morning. And like, but then, you know, I make a Brill, and then I make a espresso based coffee, and then I might go somewhere or go to work and have a batch brew or something like that, you know, at Industry Beans. They got some amazing coffees there, and you know, it's exciting trying all different brew methods and really getting amongst it. And, you know, I mean, like what would you say, what was your morning ritual this morning?
So this morning I made some espresso based coffees. So I've been getting more and more into the home espresso, which is really nice because I think what sparked my interest when I went into the specialty coffee side was the manual brewing, which I still like think is, you know, the best way to start your day and have like a really nice morning ritual. But also, like, I can't deny the fact that I like some milky coffees as well. Yeah. And I don't add milk to my filter coffees, so I, you know, go some espresso sometimes. So this morning, I made myself some little piccolos. And yeah, had some fun with that. Kind of flicked the machine on as I got up and waited for that to warm up, and then got into that.
What machine are you rolling with?
That's a little Breville BES 900.
Yeah, nice.
So it's like a dual boiler. I think retail for around $1,000.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's a great, it's a great like in between where, you know, it's a step up from the like $200 machines.
Perfect for home.
Yeah, perfect for home. It's still got the 58 mil like portafilter and everything like that. So it feels like a full machine. Like amazing value for money.
Can brew, can steam.
Can brew, can steam. Yeah. That's all you really need.
Doesn't
and can hold pressure. Like,
that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Other than that, I'll usually go a V60. That's kind of my go-to on the manual brewing side.
Yep.
How about yourself?
Well, I mean, this morning, Brill, first thing at I think 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's a really good time for that because you're not going to be turning the machine on. Like, even if I was awake and, I don't want to wake up my neighbors or anything like that.
That's it. Yeah, I got a new espresso grinder. I think it's the Baratza Set 270. And
nice.
That thing's noisy.
Yeah. I got the Baratza Encore and it is loud.
When you turn it on and you're just thinking, my neighbors are just like, what is that noise?
Yep. Yeah. I can't even imagine it through the floorboards.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I mean, that's pretty much my morning ritual. I get up super early. I'm like that. I love getting up early. I love getting up before everyone else wakes up in the house because I get joel time. Can either just chill out, do some work, have a game, just kind of that hour of just me time. And
nice.
Then when obviously people in the household start getting up, we turn on the espresso machine and, I make my partner, I make her a decaf cappuccino or a mocha sometimes if she's digging it.
Yep.
And soon with Millie, we'll start be able to do, Millie's my daughter, we'll be able to do little
baby chinos.
Yeah.
Love it.
She's not old enough just yet, but
I need to make some puppuccinos for Forrest, our little dog.
Yeah.
Good times.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. Like I'm pretty much just espresso machine at home.
Okay.
And then...
Do you make much filter?
Not really at home because in the process of moving house, I left a lot of my equipment at my parents' place.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, no. I left it all at the cafes that they used to have. And then when they sold them, they kept it and they kept it at my brother. So I just decided to be like, you know what? I'll have this. And so I did have a Mocha Master at home, but I sold it because I just never used it. And there was a cafe down the road that were like, they were wanting to get into filter coffee. So I just said,
nice.
Yeah, I'll hook you up with a Mocha Master and away you go. And kind of regretting it because I just love a Mocha Master.
We'll have to get you another Mocha Master.
Pop it on and, whatever I didn't drink, I just put in the fridge and then you get cold brew.
I can see that becoming like a really good thing for this show because then we'll just have like a pot of filter that we can just keep topping up if we need that caffeine fix while we're chatting away.
Sipping away.
But yeah, we've had one of those for a couple of years now and it's great. Great when you're not feeling like doing the whole, manual brew thing, but you want a nice crisp filter.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it. And like Breville have got their precision brewer, which is...
That's actually pretty good too.
Amazing, yeah. It's almost like, I mean, the Mocha Master's great, but it's pretty one-dimensional. You've got a set temperature and you can agitate and do all that sort of thing, but, the Breville precision brewer, you just got like... It's almost like they've taken it to that next level. And Breville's really come out of the woodwork with that type of thing.
I'm actually so surprised. I'll admit I had a really terrible opinion on home espresso machines until I had this one that I have now, which was actually passed on to me from like a family member. They'd gotten a new version of the same machine because I've had this one for years and they decided to get a new one. This one had like a minor problem and cost me $80 to fix. So I pretty much got an espresso machine for $80. I can't argue that. And so I was like, look, for that price, like I'm definitely going to give it a crack.
Yeah.
But I just had like no expectations and let's just say it way exceeded my expectations. It wasn't even just like it's fine to have around for $80 to fix it and, it's like this thing I use pretty much every day now, so I'm very stoked on that.
And I mean, like that's it, like you've got these like I guess like typical home appliance companies really starting to kind of get involved in it and getting specialty coffee. And I think this is also another thing is it's breaking down that pretentious barrier where someone who's like, I'm not going to work for a big company because X, Y, and Z, because I'm, all about the niche specialty. It's just like, well, someone was just like, you know what? I'm going to get in there. Let's help these guys build a better home machine.
That's it.
And now it's just getting progressively better and better and better and more affordable.
Well, that's the thing. Like let's touch on that with the barrier to entry with specialty coffee. Because I think with that, when you do regard things highly, like you think of it, like I really regard specialty coffee as quite I regard that highly as an awesome thing in the world. Often with that, you kind of associate like a high cost of getting into it. Like that barrier to entry can seem a little bit hard to get into beyond the pretentious barrier that's sometimes there. So, but like, it's crazy how cheap it can be to get into specialty coffee. I mean, like, first of all, it starts with the coffee. So a good bag of beans, like we're talking $15. Like you can get
$15 to $20, $15
to $20,
solid 250 gram bag,
really good specialty coffee grade beans from a local cafe. Like you don't even have to go online these days or anything like that to find some good coffee locally. And of course, we want to support local. So that's an easy one. Start with good coffee. Then your equipment. Like V60, there's a lot of components for that. But even that, you can get a kit for probably like $40 to $60.
Yeah,
AeroPress,
very low
$40.
cost. Yeah,
Delta
same
Press, $40. Yeah, even your Brill, that's around $40 to $60, right?
Yep.
So like there, you've got some really awesome, accessible coffee. Yeah,
specialty coffee right there. And I mean, I guess it's like it's getting to the like the espresso side of things. I guess is a little bit more sort of like temperamental,
totally,
in a sense, to get that perfect cup. But you know, I mean, hey, we're going to look at doing some training videos and things like that down the track. We'll
have some fun, and if anyone's got any issues as well, like just let us know, because we'd love to cover any topics that might be helpful. So yeah, with the espresso machines too, like I actually got a mini presso, which was only $50, and that actually makes some of the most amazing espresso I've ever had, like at home. And it's crazy because like $50 is nothing, you know, to spend on some coffee equipment. And like this thing, you throw a little bit of hot water in it, a little shot of coffee. I think it's like 10 grams, maybe less. Yeah. And then you just squeeze it out. I tried to
pack mine full. I was just
that's actually how I'm
gonna get way more out of this.
I did break mine after like 3 years though. Like it was like I had it for ages.
Yeah.
I took it on a bunch of trips. I actually went to Bendigo with my dad to go to the swap meet. He had like a store there. Nothing but like, you know, volunteer made like coffee, tea and coffee. And they had a machine, but it was like $6 for coffee.
Oof.
Out of a machine with people who clearly didn't know what they were doing. Like they were just volunteers, and I don't blame them at all. But I'm not going to pay that. So I came prepared. I grabbed myself a bag from 7 Seeds, got them to grind it, espresso ground for me, took my mini presso and that, snuck some hot water from the urn in the cafeteria.
Bang.
And I was like drinking this like beautiful specialty coffee at this like, you know, swap meet. All weekend long. So that was good fun. So even espresso with that, and the, you know, you've got the I always forget the name, the little like hand ones. They're kind of like,
now I'm blanking on the name.
No, that's cool. But they're like maybe a couple of $100, you know, $250. So like if on the manual side of the espresso,
that's it.
Definitely not too unreachable, or, you know, it's quite accessible as well with that.
And I mean, like, look, to get a dual boiler machine is pretty, you know, $1,000 Breville. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
you know, it's easy.
It's a nice one to work to as well if you're actually, you know, loving the espresso side of things, but you're wanting to step it up a little bit.
That's it.
But yeah, you can kind of take those stepping stones. So it's definitely not as inaccessible as it can seem.
Yeah.
But it starts with good coffee, good water.
Absolutely.
And the right grind.
The right grind. I think the grinder is probably the hardest point.
Yeah.
That's definitely the hardest step for people, because, you know, you can get a machine that holds 9 bars pressure or however much pressure you want. You can get a machine that's got good water, you know, you can buy good water, or, you know, do all that sort of thing, but it's the grinder. It's like finding that right grind size, so you've got the right soluble, getting that total dissolved solids and that sort of thing. Like that's where it's like, I think that's where a lot of people go, this is too hard, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down to my local cafe and just grab a espresso based coffee that way.
Which is fair. But it's nice to know that there's those options for those who want to take it to that next step. But yeah. All right. Love it. Well, we can definitely go into some more of those topics as we go. But it's been really nice chatting for this first little intro, getting to know.
That's it, yeah.
Getting to know you, Joel. And obviously we're going to like keep chatting about our stories and stuff like that as we go.
Can't wait to get amongst it.
What are some of the things we want to chat about in the podcast as we go? What do you reckon?
I reckon it'll be a lot of like brew methods.
Yep.
I think brew methods are going to be really fun to just get you guys out there in the community, just to, you know, let us know about your brew methods. Let us know what you love, and then we'll talk about it. Like, we want to get some like real weird brew methods. Like, I love talking about like some just things that I'm like, whoa, I would never have thought about that. And
this can't work when you see it on paper.
Yeah, and then you're like, hang on a minute, that's actually really good. You know, but yeah, I mean, just like not really having it as a topical conversation. Like, we really just want to have an open book and just like a very sort of like wholesome conversations about specialty coffee, and, you know, trying to teach people a bit more about specialty coffee and the accessibility to it. What we've
sharing our journey, and what we pick up along the way. None of us are actually born knowing everything.
That's it, yeah.
As much as some people can act like it, but we each have different stories and different experience in that. So it'll be really nice to just cover that Might even have some guests in the future or something
Absolutely,
like that. We can
yeah.
sub out one of our spots and
Yeah.
grab a guest in on the show, or have them on virtually or
And
something like that.
Go visit places as well.
Absolutely.
You know, like we really want to, like, you know, go to some of the roasteries or go to some of these companies that create espresso machines, or, you know, just like, we're really open to where this is going to go. And, you know, if you guys got any feedback, more than happy to hear about it.
Definitely.
Got
any suggestions?
Yep. The topics that you want us to cover. Try not to be topical, because we do want to be like, we don't want to be like, you know, a news source or anything like that. We just
we want to have some more fun with it.
Yeah.
Keep it friendly, and I'd love to chat about some events and stuff like that as we go, and, you know, different things that we've either done in the past or want to do in the future. Offer that experience to people, and yeah, love to hear more about how people enjoy their coffee every day and have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it was really good to do this little intro and start off with a bang. I think it's definitely got me excited. I'm keen for another chat about it. So
we can chat all day.
We can chat all day, which is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
But don't forget, guys, to subscribe. If you're, you know, out there, subscribe on your favorite platform. That would mean the world to us and be really nice to be able to have you guys along for the journey. And we're really excited for next time. If you want to follow along on Instagram as well, you can find us at the.monday.coffee. That'll be best to follow along. We'll post all the updates about the show, and we'll be probably throwing it up on iTunes, Spotify, and the video version probably on YouTube and whatnot. So it'll be really fun.
Cool.
So thanks, guys, for stopping by. I'm Tyler.
Yep, I'm Joel.
And Joel.
There's going to be plenty more of this, and can't wait.
Awesome.
Excited.
Thanks, guys. We will see you next time. Cheers.
Awesome.